Hi, all you sake lovers out there. You know, no matter how much people who write and talk about sake try to explain to the world that sake is not just for Japanese food, there's still this misconception that sake goes best with Japanese food and, in particular, raw fish like in sushi and sashimi. And while there is sake that does go well with raw fish in sushi and sashimi, if you're just opting for a fruity ginjo because that's what you like, you could be making a big mistake. Why and what should you pair with raw fish? Find out as we take a look at sake with sashimi. Now, if you're like me and you were born and raised in a place that's pretty far from the ocean, you probably don't have a good idea of the different types of fish. And in Japan, they talk about three basic types of fish. First is your red-fleshed fish, and these are fish like maguro, tuna, and bonito, and swordfish. The second type is our white-fleshed fish. And these are fish like flounder, halibut, cod, also salmon, and we'll talk about why in a moment. Finally, there's a type of red-fleshed fish that's called bluefish or aozakana in Japanese. And these are your kind of oily and kind of smelly fish, things like anchovies, sardines, mackerel, and in the autumn in Japan is the autumn fish Pacific sauri, which is known as sanma in Japanese. So we're going to be looking at each of these in turn and seeing how the different characteristics of these different types of fish fit better with different types of sake. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with our red-fleshed fish, and today I have maguro tuna, and so the characteristics of red-fleshed fish is its red flesh, and this is because it has a lot of hemoglobin and iron in the flesh, which makes them very strong and powerful and fast swimmers, so that they can basically be predators of other fish. And this presents a challenge when we're pairing it with sake because it's exactly that meatiness and particularly the iron content of the flesh that can cause a problem with lighter and fruitier and sweeter sake. So you really want to kind of stay away from that type of sake when you're dealing with maguro. So when we think about the kind of flavoring or condiment that's used with maguro, usually it's a heavy, dark, rich soy sauce. And actually in the past, maguro was, and still today, maguro was marinated in soy sauce to preserve it like that, because it was basically a garbage fish that people fed to their cats and like the poor people ate. So it wasn't like the expensive fish that we know today. And that's all due to refrigeration technology. So when we're thinking about the kind of sake that we want to pair with this, we want to go with something that's dry, but also has a lot of flavor like a rich soy sauce. So I've gone with something from Hirako brewery in Ishinomaki in Miyagi. And Ishinomaki is a famous port town that was badly damaged in the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. But Hirako Brewery was kind of on the upper, up on a hill, and so it was not destroyed by the tsunami. Of course they had damage. And this is a Chokarakuchi, so it's very dry, and but also very umami rich. And I've heated this to about 50 degrees Celsius. It's probably cooled down a little bit right now. Yeah, so I'm getting those rich, almost like cooked rice aromas in here. With a little bit of like miso in there as well. So it's a very kind of robust and cereal kind of based and cereal based and kind of what do I want to say fermented based smell that I'm getting here, but not very strong. Mm. Wow, wow. Um, it's a lot more has a lot more citrus flavor than I was expecting. It's dry, but it has kind of a like this grapefruity, orangey kind of flavor that's going on there. Really delicious and very clean finish. I usually don't like the Chokarakuchi style, but I really like this. So let's try it with the maguro. Now, what I'm looking for is like a potential kind of clash with the fish, and I'm not getting any of that. It's really blending with the soy sauce a lot. I would, recommend. I was thinking maybe not to use the soy sauce at first, but I think it's kind of blending with that and really has a good flavor with the meatiness of the maguro. It almost tastes like steak, honestly. Mm. And the maguro, the lean cuts of maguro can have a little bit of acidity, and so it's really melding with that kind of citric kind of flavor that I'm getting here, or citrus kind of flavor. Wow, I really like that. So this is something that I would really recommend if you're eating maguro.